Unlocking inner peace, the paradox of control. Have you ever noticed how hard we try to control everything? We plan, we schedule, we overthink. We try to control our careers, our health, our relationships, even the way others see us. And yet, despite all this effort, peace seems to slip through our fingers like water. Isn't it strange? The more we try to control life, the more anxious we feel. And the more we try to grasp certainty, the more life reminds us, gently or painfully, that we never had it to begin with. Today, I want to explore something paradoxical. Something that might feel uncomfortable at first, but can quietly transform the way you live. Peace doesn't come from having more control. It comes from learning how to let go. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt completely at peace? Not the kind of peace that comes from a perfect vacation or a quiet Sunday morning, but a deep, quiet stillness inside you. A sense that, even if life wasn't perfect, you were okay. Was it during a moment of certainty? Or was it when you finally stopped fighting what you couldn't change? You see, there's a kind of inner silence that only arrives when we release the need to micromanage everything. That moment when you exhale and say to yourself, I don't know what's next, and I'm okay with that. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. 1. The illusion of control. Modern life teaches us that control equals safety. We are surrounded by tools that help us stay on top of things. Calendars, trackers, reminders, analytics, apps to measure every breath we take. But all of this builds a dangerous illusion that we are the masters of outcomes. We think, if I plan enough, I'll be okay. But control is a moving target. No matter how hard you try, things still fall apart. People leave. Markets crash. Health shifts. Life changes. Clinging to control is like trying to hold the ocean in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it escapes. 2. The cost of control. And here's what we often miss. Control has a cost. It steals our presence. Have you ever been so consumed with trying to fix a situation that you stopped enjoying the moment you were in? So worried about the future that you couldn't taste your coffee, or smile at your child, or hear the breeze? This obsession with control disconnects us from joy, from spontaneity, and even from ourselves. And worse, it feeds anxiety. Because deep down, we know we can't guarantee anything. That constant internal tension? That's the nervous system screaming, I'm tired of pretending I'm in charge of everything. 3. Surrender is not giving up. Now, let me be clear. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming passive or careless. It means recognizing what's within your power and what's not. You can still work hard. You can still set intentions, take action, be responsible. But you stop obsessing over how life should unfold. You loosen the grip. You give life permission to be bigger than your plans. In Buddhist teachings, this is called non-attachment. It's not apathy, it's spaciousness. It's showing up fully, without needing to control what happens next. 4. A personal reflection. I remember a season in my life when I tried to control everything. I was afraid of uncertainty. So I scheduled every hour, controlled every bite I ate, rehearsed every conversation in my head. And yet, I felt more fragile than ever. Like one small disruption could shatter me. Then one day, everything did fall apart. A job I was counting on vanished. A relationship ended unexpectedly. My plans were useless. And strangely, in that moment of collapse, I found peace. There was nothing left to hold on to. And so, for the first time, I just breathed. That was the beginning of my practice. Learning that surrender isn't the enemy of strength. It's the gateway to resilience. 5. Questions to reflect on. So I want to leave you with a few questions. What are you trying to control right now that might be costing you peace? What would happen if you loosened your grip, even just a little? Can you trust that even without certainty, you can still be okay? Maybe peace isn't something you have to chase or construct. Maybe it's already here, waiting beneath the noise, beneath the fear, if only you'd stop trying to force everything into place. Letting go is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. A quiet invitation to stop wrestling with life and start dancing with it instead. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to not know. You are allowed to be in the middle of uncertainty and still feel whole. Because sometimes, the most peaceful thing you can do is to whisper to yourself, I trust life to meet me, even here. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to reflect on where in your life you can surrender a little more. And if you'd like more videos like this, gentle, reflective, rooted in wisdom, make sure to subscribe and join our journey inward. Remember, peace isn't found in control. It's found in presence, in trust, in the beautiful unknown. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video. What if control is stealing your peace? What if the very thing you cling to for peace is actually stealing it away? We've been told all our lives that the key to happiness is taking control. Control your schedule. Control your emotions. Control your future. We chase after routines, productivity hacks, 5-year plans, thinking that if we could just get it all together, then peace will follow. But what if that's a lie we've believed for too long? What if the constant pressure to control everything is the very thing keeping us from the one thing we crave most, inner calm? Today, I want to invite you into a quiet rebellion. Let's challenge everything we've been taught about peace. Think about it. How often do we treat life like a project to manage? We schedule every hour, optimize every task, and try to predict every possible outcome. We are told that this is maturity, responsibility, success. But underneath that polished surface, how do we really feel? Anxious, tired, always one step behind. There's a quiet panic in the modern soul, a sense that no matter how much we plan or prepare, life still won't obey. And that truth, it haunts us. Here's a thought that changed my life. Peace isn't something we gain by control. It's something we uncover when we let go. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive, maybe even reckless. Letting go. Doesn't that mean giving up? Not at all. Letting go means recognizing that we never had control in the first place, only the illusion of it. And in surrendering that illusion, something strange happens. The mind softens, the heart quiets, and presence finally enters. Let me ask you something, just between us. What are you clinging to right now that you believe will bring you peace? Is it a career goal? A relationship? Your daily routine? Your self-image? Now, be honest. Has holding onto it actually brought you peace? Or has it made you more afraid of losing it? You see, when peace depends on external things, outcomes, control, certainty, it's not really peace. It's just a temporary pause between storms. Real peace isn't afraid of change. It doesn't need guarantees. It comes from trust, from surrender, from letting life be life. I remember once, years ago, I had my whole month planned out. I had my work lined up, social events scheduled, even my self-care days mapped. And then, in a matter of days, everything collapsed. My plans unraveled. People cancelled. Opportunities vanished. And at first, I fought it. I tried to reorganize, fix, control. But the more I tried, the worse I felt. Until one night, I just sat in silence and whispered, maybe this isn't mine to control. And you know what? That moment, sitting there in uncertainty, was the first time in weeks I felt truly calm. Because I stopped resisting what was. I stopped fighting the flow of life. And in that surrender, I found something more lasting than any plan. Peace without conditions. Nature doesn't force anything. The river doesn't control its path. It follows the current. The tree doesn't rush to bloom. It trusts the seasons. And maybe we were never meant to control everything either. Maybe we were meant to participate. To flow, to adapt, to live, not like machines, but like rivers, resilient, open, alive. I know letting go feels scary. It feels like jumping without knowing where you'll land. But here's the beautiful secret. You don't have to let go of everything. Just one small thing today. Maybe let go of needing to be perfect. Or knowing exactly what tomorrow looks like. Or convincing someone to understand you. Just let one thread go. And feel what happens inside you. That tiny opening, that softening, is where peace begins. So next time someone tells you, take control of your life, smile gently, and ask yourself, or maybe, let go of it just a little. Because peace doesn't live in perfect plans. It lives in trust, in presence, in the spaces between control. And you, my friend, you are allowed to rest in those spaces. Feeling anxious? Why control might be the real culprit. Have you ever had one of those days when no matter what you do, you just can't seem to feel okay? You wake up already overwhelmed. Your mind is racing, your chest feels tight, and beneath it all, there's this quiet, persistent question. Why do I feel like I'm always fighting for peace? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many of us are caught in a silent war, trying to hold it all together, trying to stay ahead, trying to make life feel stable, predictable, safe. But what if I told you that the very thing you're doing to find peace might actually be the thing taking it away? We live in a culture that glorifies control. Take charge of your life. Manifest your destiny. Never let your guard down. We are taught to fix, plan, manage, monitor, and master every inch of our world. And if something goes wrong, we blame ourselves for not doing enough. But here's the problem with this way of living. Control is exhausting. It asks us to predict the unpredictable, to brace ourselves against change, to carry the unbearable weight of what ifs. And over time, that burden turns into anxiety. Think about it. How many of your anxious thoughts begin with the need to control something? The outcome of a conversation, someone else's opinion of you, your partner's emotions, tomorrow's uncertainties. And how often does that need for control actually bring peace? Most of the time, it does the opposite. It tightens the body. It crowds the mind. It robs you of the present moment, convincing you that peace is waiting somewhere out there, once everything is under control. But here's a truth we rarely hear. Peace isn't something we control. It's something we allow. 1. The hidden trap of control. The hidden trap is this. Control feels like safety, but it's actually a cage. We think we are building walls of protection, when in fact, we are closing ourselves off from spontaneity, from joy, from the natural rhythm of life. Control is the mind saying, I can't handle surprises. I can't trust what I can't predict. But life isn't a machine. It's not meant to be calculated. It's meant to be lived. And ironically, the more we try to dominate life, the more disconnected and overwhelmed we become. 2. The alternative. A shift in perspective. So what's the alternative? It's not giving up. It's letting go of the illusion that control equals peace. Letting go doesn't mean chaos. It doesn't mean carelessness. It means you start choosing where your energy goes. You stop trying to force outcomes. You release your grip on things beyond your reach. And you come back, gently, to this moment. Right here. Right now. Because this moment is all you ever really have. And peace can only live here. Not in the next plan. Not in the next strategy. Not in the next achievement. 3. A personal moment of clarity. Let me share something personal. A few years ago, I hit a wall. I was doing all the right things. Working hard, managing every part of my life, constantly refining my routine. But inside, I was falling apart. Every small change in plans would send me spiraling. I couldn't relax, couldn't sleep. Peace felt like a prize I could never earn, no matter how much effort I gave. And one night, sitting alone with a cup of tea, something clicked. I realized I wasn't tired from life. I was tired from fighting life. So I started practicing something simple. Every time I noticed the tension rising, I'd pause and ask myself, is this something I can truly control? If the answer was no, I let it go. Not in a dramatic, spiritual way. Just a soft, daily practice of loosening the grip. And over time, I started breathing easier. I started smiling more. And I realized peace had never been far away. It was just waiting for me to stop pushing it away with my fear. 4. An invitation to you. So now I want to invite you to try something. The next time you feel anxious, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now? Is it the outcome of a meeting? Someone else's reaction? Your future? Your past? Then ask the second question. Can I let that go, just for now? Even if it's just a sliver of surrender, try it. Try living for a few moments without gripping so tightly. Because you might discover that serenity isn't found in doing more. It's found in resisting less. You deserve peace. Not as a reward for working hard. Not as a prize for having it all figured out. But simply because you're alive. And peace is your birthright, not your burden. So if you're tired of carrying the weight of control, maybe today is the day. You put it down. Just a little. and see what rises in its place. The illusion of absolute control. Let's be honest. Most of us, deep down, crave control. We want to know what's coming next. We want to shape how life unfolds. We want to believe that, with enough effort, we can prevent pain, protect our peace, and guarantee our version of a happy ending. And it's not entirely wrong. This desire to control comes from something deeply human, something ancient, the need to feel safe. But here's the part we don't talk about enough. Trying to control everything is not peace. It's pressure. And over time, that pressure becomes a quiet, constant hum of anxiety that never really goes away. Have you noticed how exhausted we've become? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. It's like we are all running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up, but never really takes us anywhere. We try to control what we eat, how we sleep, what others think of us, how our careers unfold, what our kids become, how fast we grow, when we heal, how we are perceived. Everything. We micromanage our days like generals preparing for battle. But life isn't a battle. It's a river. And you can't control a river. You can only learn how to move with it. 1. Why we chase control. Now, you might wonder, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we chase this illusion of total control, knowing deep down that life is unpredictable? Well, because uncertainty is uncomfortable. When the ground beneath us feels shaky, we start building routines, systems, identities, anything to make us feel like we've got a grip. And sure, some of those things are helpful. Structure matters. Planning matters. Boundaries matter. But the problem begins when we cross a line, when structure becomes obsession, when planning becomes paranoia, when we start measuring our worth by how in control we feel. That's when control turns from a tool into a cage. 2. The hidden cost. Here's what control rarely tells you. It comes at a price. Every hour you spend trying to control something beyond your reach, you lose a little more of your peace. You lose presence. You stop noticing how the morning light hits your kitchen counter. You stop hearing the laughter in your friend's voice. You miss the small, sacred moments that can't be planned or managed or optimized. And instead, you sit with a nervous system that never fully relaxes. Always scanning. Always bracing. Always one step ahead, or one step behind. Never here. 3. A personal story. Learning to let go. I used to be someone who needed every detail mapped out. My calendar was color-coded. My inbox always at 0. I even had alarms to remind me to stretch, hydrate, and journal. And don't get me wrong, some of that was helpful. But over time, I realized something unsettling. The more I controlled my life, the less I was actually living it. If plans shifted, I felt uneasy. If people changed, I took it personally. If life surprised me, I called it failure. Then one day, something happened that changed everything. A project I deeply cared about, months in the making, fell apart overnight. And there was nothing I could do to fix it. I remember sitting there, completely depleted. But instead of panicking, something inside me just softened. Because in that moment, I finally saw it. I was never in control. I was only ever in resistance. And when that resistance dropped, so did my fear. 4. A different way to live. What if we stopped trying to manage every corner of life? What if, instead of demanding certainty, we practice trust? Not blind trust. Not spiritual bypassing. But a quiet, grounded trust that we can meet whatever comes. That we are resilient. That peace isn't about everything going our way. It's about meeting life with open hands, not clenched fists. Because here's the truth. You can't control how others see you. You can't control what tomorrow brings. You can't control how everything unfolds. But you can control how present you are. You can choose where your energy flows. You can let go of the illusion and discover something far more powerful. Freedom. Control promises comfort, but it rarely delivers peace. So maybe it's time to step off the treadmill, to stop gripping so tightly, to breathe into uncertainty, not as a threat, but as a doorway. Because peace was never about controlling life. It's about learning to trust yourself inside it. And you, exactly as you are right now, you are enough to face what's ahead, even if you don't have a perfect plan. The unseen costs of holding tight. Have you ever held on so tightly to something, a plan, a belief, a version of how things were supposed to go, that you didn't notice it was actually hurting you? Maybe you thought you were protecting yourself. Maybe you believed that if you just kept everything exactly in place, you could finally feel safe, finally feel calm. But here's something I've come to learn. Sometimes, what we cling to most is exactly what's weighing us down. You see, life doesn't stand still. It's messy. It shifts. It surprises us. And when we try to lock it into place, we don't stop the chaos. We just create tension inside ourselves. That tension might not be loud. It might not scream. But it whispers. It shows up in the way we overthink every decision, in the way we get frustrated when someone doesn't act the way we expect, in how we struggle to relax, even when nothing's wrong. 1. The growth we miss. Let's talk about growth. We all say we want to grow, to evolve, to be more at peace, more resilient. But growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It doesn't happen in control. It happens in the spaces in between, the uncertain moments, the unexpected detours. When we hold tight to what we know, what we expect, or who we think we are, we leave no room for something new to emerge. Think about it. How many opportunities have you missed because they didn't look like your plan? How many times have you walked away from discomfort, not realizing it was the exact thing that could have shaped you? We avoid uncertainty like it's dangerous, but often, it's the birthplace of our deepest strength. 2. The damage to relationships. And then there are our relationships. When we grip too tightly, not just to plans, but to people, we start trying to mold them into what makes us feel safe. We create silent rules in our heads. You should respond this way. You should understand me without me having to say anything. You shouldn't change. But the truth is, people do change. They grow. They pull away. They return in new forms. And the more we resist that, the more pain we cause, not just to them, but to ourselves. Expectations turn into disappointment. Disappointment turns into resentment. And before we know it, we are not really loving the person in front of us. We are clinging to a version of them that no longer exists. Letting go isn't about giving up on people. It's about giving them the space to be who they really are, not just who we need them to be. 3. The emotional and mental toll. Now let's talk about the part we often ignore. What all this holding tight does to us. Constantly trying to manage outcomes, predict reactions, avoid uncertainty, it's exhausting. We might not realize it, but our bodies know. Our nervous systems stay on high alert. Our sleep gets lighter. We feel this low hum of anxiety, even when things look fine on the outside. Because here's the thing. Control feels like peace, until you realize it's fear in disguise. We don't trust life to carry us, so we try to carry everything. But we are not built for that. We are not meant to live life bracing for impact all the time. Personal reflection. A moment of realization. I remember a time when I tried to force everything into place. I had a 5-year plan, a strict morning routine, expectations for how relationships should work, how my career should go, how my healing should unfold. And when anything veered off course, I panicked. Not outwardly, but inside, I was always bracing. Then one day, someone close to me said, "You're trying so hard to hold everything together that you're not allowing anything to breathe." That hit me hard. Because they were right. Nothing in my life had space. Not even me. The shift. What letting go actually means. Letting go doesn't mean we stop caring. It doesn't mean we become passive or indifferent. It means we stop gripping so tightly that we choke the life out of things. It means we allow life to be what it is, unpredictable, mysterious, sometimes wildly uncomfortable, and still beautiful. It means we choose to meet change with curiosity, not fear. We allow people to grow. We allow ourselves to change direction. We rest, knowing that peace doesn't come from perfect control, but from trust. Trust in our ability to navigate the unknown. Trust in our resilience. Trust in the quiet strength that comes from surrender. So maybe today's invitation is this. Take one thing, one belief, one expectation, one fear, and loosen your grip. Just a little. See what space opens up. See what weight you've been carrying. And ask yourself, what might unfold if I stopped holding on so tightly? Because sometimes, peace doesn't come from adding more. It comes from letting go. How to embrace what you can't control without losing yourself. Letting go isn't passive, it's a practice. Let me ask you something. How much of your day is spent trying to control things you actually can't? People's opinions of you, traffic, weather, the future, the past, the way someone responds to your text, the speed at which your life is unfolding. We all do it. We grip, we plan, we obsess, we fix. We try to micromanage the world, not because we are controlling, but because we are afraid. Afraid of pain. Afraid of loss. Afraid of uncertainty. But here's the truth that changed my life, and maybe it will change yours too. You don't have to control everything to be okay. 1. The serenity filter. What's truly yours to influence. There's a simple framework I come back to again and again. Maybe you've heard of it. The serenity prayer. It goes, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That last part? That's where the magic is, the wisdom to know the difference. Most of us spend way too much time trying to change the unchangeable, and not nearly enough time acting on the things actually within our reach. So here's a practical step, something I do when my mind is spinning. Draw 2 circles on paper. In the first circle, write down everything you can control. Your actions, your words, your attitude, how you treat others, how you show up. In the second circle, write down what's out of your control. Other people's choices, outcomes, the economy, unexpected events, time. Now here's the hard part, but also the freeing part. Let the second circle go. Literally. Say it out loud. I can't control this, and that's okay. Because fighting what you can't control is like trying to stop the ocean with your hands. It's exhausting. It's endless. And it keeps you from swimming with the current of your own life. 2. Catching control in the moment, mindful awareness. You might be wondering, how do I know when I'm trying to control too much? The answer lies in your body. Control often shows up as tightness, tension, that subtle clench in your jaw or chest. The next time you feel frustrated, anxious, or stuck, pause. Ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now? Is this mine to carry? What would happen if I softened my grip? This isn't about becoming passive. It's about becoming conscious. We are not robots. We are not meant to live on autopilot, constantly reacting to every discomfort with resistance. When we start noticing these micro-moments of control, we create space. And in that space, we can choose a different response. That's where peace begins. 3. Letting go through practice, not theory. Now, let's talk about something important. Letting go isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice, just like anything worth doing. And here are 3 practices that have personally helped me, and might help you too. 1. Journaling. Write down what's weighing on you, without editing. Let the page hold your need for control, your fears, your hopes. There's something powerful about seeing your thoughts outside of your head. It brings clarity. It softens the grip. Try this prompt. What am I trying to control right now, and why? What would it feel like to release it? You'd be surprised how much insight flows when you let the pen speak. 2. Gratitude. This might sound cliché, but it works. Control is often future-focused. It says, I'll feel okay when. Gratitude pulls you back to now. It says, there's beauty here, already. Start simple. 1 thing each morning. Maybe it's the light on your kitchen counter, or the way your dog looks at you, or the breath you just took. Gratitude roots us. And when we are rooted, the storm doesn't shake us as much. 3. Breathwork or stillness. Even 5 minutes of stillness a day, no phone, no noise, can reset your nervous system. When you sit quietly, you'll notice how often your mind wants to fix, plan, or anticipate. Let that be okay. And just come back to the breath. Inhale, here. Exhale, now. Again and again. This simple rhythm has carried people through wars, heartbreak, illness, and chaos. And it can carry you too. 4. The beautiful life beyond control. Here's something that might surprise you. Some of the best things in your life came from moments you didn't control. A chance meeting, a change in plans, an unexpected yes, or a devastating no that led you to something better. Life is full of wild turns and messy beauty. When we stop trying to write the whole script, we finally get to live the story. Letting go doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you stop making it harder by fighting what already is. So today, or maybe just this hour, give yourself permission to trust what you can influence, to release what you cannot, to meet the moment with openness instead of armor. Because control feels powerful, but surrender, that's where the real peace lies. How to embrace what you can't control without losing yourself. Letting go isn't passive, it's a practice. Let me ask you something. How much of your day is spent trying to control things you actually can't? People's opinions of you, traffic, weather, the future, the past, the way someone responds to your text, the speed at which your life is unfolding. We all do it. We grip, we plan, we obsess, we fix. We try to micromanage the world, not because we are controlling, but because we are afraid. Afraid of pain. Afraid of loss. Afraid of uncertainty. But here's the truth that changed my life, and maybe it will change yours too. You don't have to control everything to be okay. 1. The serenity filter. What's truly yours to influence. There's a simple framework I come back to again and again. Maybe you've heard of it. The serenity prayer. It goes, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That last part? That's where the magic is, the wisdom to know the difference. Most of us spend way too much time trying to change the unchangeable, and not nearly enough time acting on the things actually within our reach. So here's a practical step, something I do when my mind is spinning. Draw 2 circles on paper. In the first circle, write down everything you can control. Your actions, your words, your attitude, how you treat others, how you show up. In the second circle, write down what's out of your control. Other people's choices, outcomes, the economy, unexpected events, time. Now here's the hard part, but also the freeing part. Let the second circle go. Literally. Say it out loud. I can't control this, and that's okay. Because fighting what you can't control is like trying to stop the ocean with your hands. It's exhausting. It's endless. And it keeps you from swimming with the current of your own life. 2. Catching control in the moment, mindful awareness. You might be wondering, how do I know when I'm trying to control too much? The answer lies in your body. Control often shows up as tightness, tension, that subtle clench in your jaw or chest. The next time you feel frustrated, anxious, or stuck, pause. Ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now? Is this mine to carry? What would happen if I softened my grip? This isn't about becoming passive. It's about becoming conscious. We are not robots. We are not meant to live on autopilot, constantly reacting to every discomfort with resistance. When we start noticing these micro-moments of control, we create space. And in that space, we can choose a different response. That's where peace begins. 3. Letting go through practice, not theory. Now, let's talk about something important. Letting go isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice, just like anything worth doing. And here are 3 practices that have personally helped me, and might help you too. 1. Journaling. Write down what's weighing on you, without editing. Let the page hold your need for control, your fears, your hopes. There's something powerful about seeing your thoughts outside of your head. It brings clarity. It softens the grip. Try this prompt. What am I trying to control right now, and why? What would it feel like to release it? You'd be surprised how much insight flows when you let the pen speak. 2. Gratitude. This might sound cliché, but it works. Control is often future-focused. It says, I'll feel okay when. Gratitude pulls you back to now. It says, there's beauty here, already. Start simple. 1 thing each morning. Maybe it's the light on your kitchen counter, or the way your dog looks at you, or the breath you just took. Gratitude roots us. And when we are rooted, the storm doesn't shake us as much. 3. Breathwork or stillness. Even 5 minutes of stillness a day, no phone, no noise, can reset your nervous system. When you sit quietly, you'll notice how often your mind wants to fix, plan, or anticipate. Let that be okay. And just come back to the breath. Inhale, here. Exhale, now. Again and again. This simple rhythm has carried people through wars, heartbreak, illness, and chaos. And it can carry you too. 4. The beautiful life beyond control. Here's something that might surprise you. Some of the best things in your life came from moments you didn't control. A chance meeting, a change in plans, an unexpected yes, or a devastating no that led you to something better. Life is full of wild turns and messy beauty. When we stop trying to write the whole script, we finally get to live the story. Letting go doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you stop making it harder by fighting what already is. So today, or maybe just this hour, give yourself permission to trust what you can influence, to release what you cannot, to meet the moment with openness instead of armor. Because control feels powerful, but surrender, that's where the real peace lies. Living in flow, your path to inner peace. Let go. Trust more. Breathe again. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly at peace? Not because everything was going perfectly, not because every box was checked, but because something in you finally whispered, "This is enough." You see, most of us spend our lives chasing control, thinking that's the path to peace. We plan, organize, push, fix, all in hopes of finally arriving at some version of calm. But here's the paradox. The more we try to control everything, the more peace slips through our fingers. 1. The quiet power of letting go. There's something incredibly liberating that happens the moment we stop trying to force life to fit our expectations, and instead begin to trust the process. Now, I don't mean giving up. I don't mean becoming passive or careless. I mean this. Surrendering the illusion that we can, or should, micromanage every twist and turn. Life isn't a spreadsheet. It's a river. And no matter how strong you swim upstream, the current will always be there. Sometimes it will carry you exactly where you hoped. Other times, it'll take you places you never saw coming, both beautiful and painful. But when we live in flow, we stop fighting the river, and we start learning how to navigate it with grace. 2. Redefining success, from control to adaptability. Think about how we define success today. Is it checking all the boxes? Having a perfect 5-year plan? Controlling every outcome? That version of success sounds exhausting, because it is. What if, instead, success looked like this? Being calm in the chaos, flexible in uncertainty, able to breathe deeply, even when the path isn't clear. I once heard a surfer describe their job as learning how to dance with waves I can't control. And I think that's the kind of success we need more of. Real strength, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from being rigid. It comes from being adaptable. The oak tree that never bends, it breaks in the storm. But the willow that flows with the wind, it survives and stands again. In a world that keeps changing, politically, environmentally, emotionally, adaptability isn't just helpful. It's sacred. 3. The beauty of imperfection. Here's another thought, and this one hits home for a lot of us. What if peace doesn't come when life is perfect, but when we stop needing it to be? Some of the most peaceful people I've met weren't the ones with the easiest lives. They were the ones who had learned to stop resisting what was, to stop making war with reality. They had learned to smile in the rain, to sit still when things didn't make sense, to find beauty in the broken edges of life. It's okay to be a little messy. It's okay if things aren't wrapped in a bow. Sometimes, the crack in the plan is where the light gets in. 4. A gentle invitation. Start today. So, maybe you're watching this and thinking, that sounds great in theory, but how do I actually live in flow? Let's keep it simple. Start small. Start now. Here are a few ways to begin. 1. Pause before you push. The next time you catch yourself trying to force something, a conversation, a timeline, a decision, just pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this something I need to control, or just something I need to trust? 2. Let the moment be enough. Try this. Pick one moment today, just one, and allow it to be exactly what it is. Don't fix it. Don't judge it. Don't rush through it. Whether it's sipping your coffee, folding laundry, or watching the sun set behind traffic. Let that moment be your teacher in stillness. 3. Reframe the narrative. When something doesn't go your way, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this trying to teach me? How can I grow through this? What else might be possible now that this door has closed?" These tiny shifts in perspective are like opening windows in a stuffy room. Suddenly, there's air, there's light, there's space. 5. You don't have to master it all today. Here's something I want you to know, especially if you're hard on yourself. You don't have to become a Zen monk overnight. You don't need to fix yourself to earn peace. Peace is already here, under all the noise, the striving, the worry. It's waiting for you in the present moment. Not someday, not when you figure it all out. But now, right here, in this breath, in this heartbeat. You are already enough, even as you grow, even as you change. So today, I invite you to try something radical. Let go, not of effort, but of the need to control. Trust the process, not blindly, but with an open heart. Embrace the flow, not because life will always go your way, but because your peace doesn't depend on it.